Man, I can't believe what I just witnessed. The Washington Redskins have returned to relevancy. This is KD Drummond of SB Nation, and I'm here to bring you the recap of the Redskins' 17-16 victory over the New York Giants, the defending Super Bowl champions and first place in the NFC East holders. Now, obviously, if you watched the game, you saw what everybody came to see. Robert Griffin III, RG3 as he's known, he was electrifying. He did what he does on a normal basis, and he didn't disappoint for those of you that haven't really had a chance to watch him yet this year. The obvious change with the Redskins over the last couple seasons is the shift in their offense. Not only are they running Mike Shanahan's stretch plays to great effect behind fellow rookie runner Alfred Morris, but they're also now using the read option, and it again came to fruition today. That is just a very difficult thing for a defense to match up against both of those possibilities. You saw it time again. The play action fakes were there. Alfred Morris ran for 124 yards. He broke over 1,100 yards now for the season as a rookie runner. Him and Doug Martin are both over 1,100 yards. So that's a crazy production out of a guy that was drafted in the 6th round. But the first round pick, the guy that they traded up for, Robert Griffin III, he didn't disappoint. On one of the early read option plays, he faked the ball on a pitch to Josh Morgan, scurried up the left sideline. Now, he did take a hit and fumble just before he hit the ground, but he had some kind of voodoo magic going on that the ball hopped out of his hands and right into Josh Morgan's, who scooped the ball and then ran the last 15 yards in order to score the touchdown. That put the Redskins up 7-3. The Giants had their difficulties all game turning production into points. They actually dominated for most of the game up until the 4th quarter. They dominated with time of possession. They dominated in yardage gained over the Washington Redskins. But oftentimes when they got into the green zone inside the Redskins 40, they weren't able to continue the drive. It bogged down, despite the fact that they were doing good on 3rd down conversions before that, before they would get into this zone. And they ended up settling for field goal attempts, one of which they missed, which would have actually been the deciding points of the game. You can't lose, by 1 point and not sit back and think about the 3 points that you lost on the missed field goal earlier in the game. Now, one of the weird things that happened here was that the Redskins defense actually came to play, stopping the Giants on 2 consecutive 4th quarter drives once they had taken the lead on a touchdown to Pierre Garçon. Now, Pierre Garçon has missed a lot of time this year. He's just recently come back since the bye week. He's been suffering with a foot injury, but he is a dynamic receiving threat, and is actually giving the Redskins a 3-headed monster that is going to be, looks like it's going to be hard for opponents to defend for the next 4 or 5 years. As long as his foot holds up, his production is going to be great. He's one of those yards after the catch guys. He's quick, he's speedy, he's going to be very hard to contain, and he's going to be a nightmare for the NFC East poor secondaries. Speaking of poor secondaries, the Redskins have one as well, and it didn't really come to bite them in the rear of this game for some reason because Eli Manning just seemed to be off. His number 1 target was Martellus Bennett, who he's an average tight end, but in this game, the Redskins made him look like a world beater. They left him wide open on a 2nd and 20. It was a huge gain over the middle. And then again, they left him open in the middle of the end zone, which actually gave the Giants the lead going into halftime. But in the second half, it was a different tale completely. The Redskins' running game kicked in. They they rushed for over 200 yards as a team behind, as I said, Alfred Morris and also Robert Griffin III. He had over 70 yards on his own in the rushing game. So all in all, you can definitely see what's going on with the Redskins. They've won 3 games out of the break. They took a bye week, and everybody was talking about they were looking towards 2013. But lo and behold, they thrust themselves right into the playoff race in the thick of the things in the NFC East, as well as in the NFC overall. Speaking of those standings, the Giants, even though they lost, are still in first place, 7-5 record overall, but they did drop to 2-3 within the division with 1 game left against Philly. The Redskins and the Cowboys are both tied at 6-6, with the Redskins now having a 3-1 division record, and the Cowboys are now sitting at 3-2 on the heels of their victory over Philadelphia on Sunday night. So you can see it's going to be a wild race down the last quarter of the season. Anything can happen in the NFC East, and it will happen with the Redskins and the Cowboys meeting in Week 17 and the Giants having a tremendously tough schedule from here on out. You could easily be looking at a 3-team tie at 9-7 atop the standings, and then you get into the whole tiebreaker scenario, common opponents, division record, conference record, all of those sort of things that it's a little bit too hard to sort out right now. Also difficult to sort out might be the wild card standings. Right now, Seattle is ahead at 7-5 for the final wildcard spot behind the Bears, who are 8-4. But sitting just a game behind Seattle is going to be the Redskins, the Cowboys, Tampa Bay, and Minnesota, all sitting at 6-6 with a realistic shot at making the playoffs this season, regardless of who's playing well and who's playing bad. You never know what's going to happen over the last quarter of the season. So with that, I'll leave you. Once again, this is KD Drummond for SB Nation. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and keep it posted for the latest updates. Salute.